Video, we're going to continue our conversation on momentum scans. Today, I'm going to show you all the increasing rate of change scan. This one's really helpful if you're looking for stocks that have been making a big move. I will put out a disclaimer that this doesn't necessarily mean that the stock is going to continue moving on an uptrend. We can't really predict the future. But one thing that I can say is that this is a really helpful stock in finding momentum. It's really helpful in also identifying stocks that may be slowing down in momentum, um, that may be actually heading for a reversal. So there's a lot that you can do with this particular scan, but it's important that you match it with other indicators to help guide your decision making. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Like always, we're going to start off with the first line being the type is a stock. We're going to open up a new line, and to look for rate of change, we're actually going to want to look at the slope. So we're going to put in today's slope, and that is a technical indicator, so it should pop up. And we actually are going to look at the past 5 days. So we'll put 5, and like I mentioned, we're looking at rate of change, so that's also a technical indicator. The default on that is 12, similar to like the MACD, how it has like 9, 23, 12, something like that. And then we also want to know, we also want to compare the slope to the steepness. So to do that, let me actually close this bracket off first. You're going to, let's put 10. The bigger the number, the bigger the steepness is going to be. I just put 10, but you can play around with it to see which number works best for you. All right, and then once you do that, you're going to go ahead and run the scan. I already have it up because my computer takes forever to load the scan results. So this is what you should see if you were to run it on April 6th. I'm going to adjust so we don't get penny stocks. And let's take a look at cons as an example. So I'm going to open up CONN, and you can see this is a great example of a momentum stock. Even though the RSI is showing that it's really hot, it is still moving in an uptrend, and it kind of looks like it might be slowing down, but it might not be. It might still be going up, and this is a pretty good stock in that it's pretty consistent. It's like a very beautiful chart. If we look at the volume even, we can see that the volume, maybe not most recently, although I would argue that compared to mid-March, it has doubled. If we look at early April, the first few days of the month, we can see that it's almost tripled or quadrupled. So that is one really good indicator that the volume is going up, as is the stock price, which makes sense. The other things that you could be looking at are the MACD indicators. So if we're looking at the MACD line, which is the black line, you can see that it definitely surpasses the red line, which is the signal line. And you're seeing the same trend in the TSI, which is the true strength index or indicator. I forget which. And if we look at the histogram, which are these blue lines, we can also see that this pattern is actually has been happening going back farther than the last 5 days. We look at ADX, we can see that this green line, which indicates the direction of the stock, we can see that it's moving up in an enormous way. And if we look at the black line, which talks about the strength of that movement, we can see that it is relatively strong. So these are a bunch of indicators that I use to help me realize whether a stock is. Now, this one has been moving for a while, so this is one that you might be kicking yourself like I should have gotten early on this one. But there are plenty of other stocks, right? So let's look at another one. So let's look at IP. No, let's look at one. Let's look at ChargePoint. I like looking at ones with sectors. That's why. Okay, so let's look at ChargePoint. And here's another example. So this one was cold, I believe, towards the end of March, and it started to build its momentum. We can see that it has been moving up. It did dip a little bit, but then it came right back up. We look at our other indicators, the MACD, histogram, and we can see actually from the histogram that it has been uptrending. But if we look here at the MACD, we can see that this stock actually might be undervalued because it's below the center line. So that's one indicator. If we look at the TSI as well, we see that it's under the center line, but it is uptrending. So that means that it's reaching its um, maybe it's fair value, right? So different indicators will give you different results, right? I hope this was helpful. This is definitely one of the scans that I really like to use. You really want to try to use this with a downtrend out to a breakout scan. I know I did that one in a previous video. That might actually help you catch this momentum earlier. So hope this was really helpful, and let me know what you all think. Take care, everyone.